Imagine a king standing before millions of gazing eyes, his eyes filled with tears, yet his voice remains steady. This is the final moment of Charles I as the King of the United Kingdom, a speech not just of farewell, but also a solemn transfer of power. The future of the monarchy lies in the hands of William Kate and their 3 children. He said, his words resonating deeply within everyone. Behind that flawless ceremony was a decision full of emotion and courage, marking the beginning of a new chapter for the House of Windsor and the entire nation. Let's delve into the story behind this historic turning point. If you find this story interesting, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, leave a comment with the number 0. Don't forget to like, share the video, and comment your thoughts below to let us know. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more exciting videos. Now let's begin the story. Charles, who had waited his entire life to become king, was always shaped by the weight of duty, and no one influenced that path more than his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, a symbol of an era defined by unwavering dedication and service. But that era is coming to an end. The reign of Charles IV may be brief, but it has been far from peaceful. He faced deeply personal challenges, including a sensitive health diagnosis, while the Princess of Wales was also dealing with her own medical battles. All of this unfolded under the heavy shadow of a monarchy constantly striving to reinvent itself in order to endure through the decades. Yet that night, in front of the cameras and seated in the very same green room where his mother once delivered her most traditional Christmas addresses in British history, Charles did not look like a weary king. He was a hopeful grandfather, a father with a trembling voice, who did far more than simply sign a decree. He issued a heartfelt appeal to the nation, an almost intimate plea for the people to place their trust in William, Catherine, and their children. And the nation listened. In the days that followed, polls revealed near-unanimous support. 92% of Britons endorsed William and Kate as the new faces of the monarchy. Charles's message was no longer just a farewell, it had become the dawn of a new era. Anyone familiar with his life's work knows that shirking responsibility was never in his nature. From his days as Prince of Wales, he left a lasting legacy through the Prince's trust and his tireless advocacy for environmental causes. As king, he faced relentless criticism and bore the weight of the crown with unwavering resolve. But on this farewell occasion, something shifted. For the first time, Charles allowed himself to be vulnerable. "I have dedicated my entire life to this country," he said, his voice quivering as he recalled his eternal mother, Queen Elizabeth. The time had come to step back and let the new generation shine. Reading between the lines, one truth became clear: the king's health no longer allowed him to continue at the same pace. The cancer diagnosis in 2024 was a turning point, but it wasn't the center of his story. Instead, he chose to focus on William and Catherine, praising their devotion to the nation and their royal duty. And in that decision, his quiet brilliance came through. Though largely ceremonial, the decree carried powerful symbolism. By formally naming William and Catherine as heirs to the people's trust, Charles ensured a smooth transition, but it was the inclusion of George, Charlotte, and Louis that truly sealed his legacy. They are the future, he declared, and their preparation begins now. What came next? No one could have predicted. Royal insiders revealed that preparing the next generation would go far beyond traditional monarchical education. This wasn't about etiquette lessons or palace pageantry. It was an elite training program custom-designed for each child, one that took into account not only their future roles, but also their unique personalities and natural talents. A true succession plan carefully considered down to the smallest detail. George, the eldest son and future king, will immerse himself in deep studies of British constitutional history. His training is designed to help him understand the foundations that uphold the crown, not just as a symbol, but as an integral part of the nation's institutional framework. Charlotte, known for her poise and natural grace, is being prepared to step confidently onto the global stage. Her focus will be international relations, diplomatic negotiations, and serving as a symbolic representative of the monarchy at high-level events. Louis the youngest, full of energy and creativity, will follow a different path. His program emphasizes the arts, public speaking, and the development of emotional intelligence, preparing him to become a steadying, expressive presence within both the family and the institution. This renewal plan was far from accidental. It reflects Charles's core belief that for the monarchy to remain relevant, it must adapt, speaking the language of the 21st century without losing the reverence for tradition. And by all accounts, the public has understood this message loud and clear. Social media overflowed with messages of support. God bless King Charles. William and Kate have become a source of immense pride. The national mood is undeniably optimistic. For many, it seems no couple is better prepared to guide the monarchy into the future. Their journey began quietly with a budding romance on the historic grounds of St. Andrew's University, a story that now feels almost prophetic in its humble beginnings. William, now officially the Prince of Wales, has spent years preparing for this pivotal moment. More than just the heir to the throne, he became a key advisor during the period when his father began stepping back from public duties due to health issues in 2024. Throughout that time, William quietly took on significant responsibilities, helping to maintain order and stability within the monarchy. With a calm demeanor and steady confidence, he has proven to the world that the monarchy remains strong and capable of adapting, demonstrating both mental strength and sharp focus. By his side, Catherine has been no less vital, playing a crucial role as a devoted partner, offering quiet yet unwavering support every step of the way. With her dedicated focus on early childhood development and mental health, Catherine has completely transformed her role within the royal family. Evolving from the image of a traditional duchess, she has steadily become a modern symbol of leadership, a strong bridge between the palace and the everyday challenges faced by families across the country. Her natural grace, paired with a genuine commitment to key social issues, has earned her deep respect and admiration from millions. It's not just personal affection she inspires, but a profound trust in her ability to lead and her unwavering dedication to the well-being of the community. Together, William and Catherine have created a rare and cherished image in the modern monarchy, a royal family that is both dignified and relatable, expressed not just through titles, but in every action and way of life. From simple moments like taking their children to school in Windsor to sharing the excitement of sporting events, such as polo matches, they present the public with the portrait of a family grounded in tradition, yet refreshingly ordinary. This image not only strengthens their connection with the people, but also forms a vital foundation for their appeal and popularity, helping to renew and sustain the monarchy's enduring values. However, beyond all the bright smiles and the flashing cameras of the media, a profoundly intimate moment unfolded just after Charles's historic speech. It was a quiet, private scene, far from the gaze of cameras and public attention within the silent walls of the royal palace. According to those close to the family, once the decree of power transfer was read and its significance fully understood, William and Catherine sat down together with their children, sharing heartfelt reflections on the immense responsibility now resting on their shoulders. No grand words or elaborate speeches were spoken in that moment, only exchanged glances, meaningful looks, and a silence heavy with unspoken feelings. William and Kate shared steadfast, determined, and trusting eyes, as if silently reaffirming a sacred vow, an old promise, now made official and unbreakable. Insiders reveal they had long anticipated this momentous day, and now fully prepared, they are ready to move forward on this new path, carrying with them all the hopes and responsibilities it entails. But when they heard the king himself say that the responsibility of upholding the monarchy now rests with them, and that their children had truly touched his heart, Catherine maintained her usual calm, squeezing William's hand tightly. She stood as a steady pillar, as always, supporting her husband and keeping everything balanced amid the profound changes. Their children watched George, then just 12 years old, with attentive and thoughtful eyes, evoking memories for many of the serene and profound expression Queen Elizabeth II once wore in her youth. Charlotte, mature and confident, gently leaned in to comfort her younger brother, while Louis, though still small, responded with a serious nod, as if instinctively he grasped the significance of what was unfolding. The deep bond among the family members was no accident. It reflected the deliberate choices William and Catherine had made over the years. They were determined to raise their children in an environment where duty and normalcy coexist, building a strong foundation for the next generation. Becoming a prince or princess doesn't mean stepping away from the realities of life. It means understanding that a title carries great responsibility, and that responsibility always begins at home. What the world doesn't yet know is that this new chapter is just beginning, from homemade birthday cakes crafted by family members to intimate conversations about the future of the Commonwealth shared over cozy dinners. It's these simple moments that weave the deepest and most lasting bonds. Behind the scenes, glimpses into William and Catherine's life reveal a family far beyond the strict royal protocols. It's those simple, quiet moments in public that create the strongest connection. You might see Kate discreetly adjusting George's tie during the Trooping the Color parade, or William smiling proudly as he watches Charlotte engage warmly with veterans as if she was born to do just that. These genuine, relatable moments bring the monarchy closer to the people. "They're not just royals," remarked a palace aide. "They truly are a team, and the public can feel that." Following Charles's speech, social media quickly lit up with praise. "Kate's elegance is unmatched," one user commented. "William is ready to lead," said another. The couple's strength, many noted, doesn't come from grandeur or spectacle, but from their authenticity, and that precisely is what makes them the ideal leaders for the next chapter of the monarchy. George, Charlotte, and Louis may still be young, but King Charles's farewell speech officially placed them at the heart of the monarchy's future. When he declared that their training would begin immediately, it wasn't just a ceremonial gesture, it was a profound commitment, a pledge to prepare the next generation for a world that is constantly evolving. According to sources close to the royal family, this training program is unlike any that has come before. It's a carefully crafted blend of time-honored tradition and modern innovation, tailored specifically to match each child's unique future role. At just 12 years old, George carries the immense responsibility of being second in line to the throne. His curriculum extends beyond constitutional history. It includes a deep dive into the complex workings of the Commonwealth and the intricate systems that uphold it. All of this takes place under the mentorship of seasoned advisors, some of whom had the honor of guiding George's great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, decades ago. But don't mistake George's education as limited to dusty old books. He actively joins his father in charitable initiatives, and during many of these outings, volunteers are often struck by his curiosity and remarkable ability to listen with empathy and attentiveness. These qualities already hint at a highly promising future leader. Meanwhile, Charlotte is quietly carving her own path, marked by natural poise and grace. From her composed presence at her great-grandmother's funeral to her charm at the Chelsea Flower Show, she has shown she's ready to take on greater responsibilities. Her training includes formal lessons in French and Spanish, preparing her early for a future role on the international stage. Not only that, Charlotte is also being trained in public speaking, and according to palace sources, she shows a remarkable presence and empathy well beyond her years. She is seen as a quiet leader within the family, and her future commitments are expected to center around education and the arts areas deeply tied to the legacy and passions of her mother, Princess Catherine. If you find this story interesting and want to learn more, don't forget to like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more exciting videos. Now let's continue the story. Meanwhile, the youngest Prince Louis continues to captivate the public with his seemingly boundless energy. While his role may be lighter than that of his older siblings, it still holds a meaningful place in the future of the monarchy. Louis is receiving training in music theater, and most recently storytelling, a field many believe will unlock his natural potential. His playful expressions and animated gestures during royal events aren't just the hallmarks of an extroverted child. They're also seen as early signs of a gifted communicator. According to royal insiders, Louis's passion for storytelling is being actively nurtured and developed through a carefully structured approach. In addition to the creative focus, his education places special emphasis on emotional intelligence, equipping him with a deep sense of empathy and emotional awareness. The goal is not only to prepare him to support the monarchy, but also to serve as a grounding presence within the royal family itself. In the future, Louis is expected to serve as a unifying force among his siblings, a blend of gentleness, creativity, and empathy. Every step in his preparation reflects not mere tradition, but a deliberate and forward-thinking strategy to shape not just future royal figures, but well-rounded young individuals equipped to understand and adapt to the modern world. By involving his grandchildren in the monarchy's renewal project, Charles didn't just make a strategic move, he placed a bold bet on the future of the crown. Up to this point, all signs suggest that the gamble is paying off. However, one final card remained unrevealed, and when it finally was, the world paused to listen. What set this training program apart wasn't just its content, but the way it was carried out personally, led by William and Catherine. Rather than rigidly following royal tradition, the couple chose a modern, compassionate, and more human-centered approach. William and Kate want their children George, Charlotte, and Louis to grow up with a deep sense of duty, but without losing the essence of childhood. According to a palace insider, this means striking a balance between royal education and rituals with the simplest everyday activities. Charlotte continues her ballet lessons, George regularly plays football with his classmates, And Louis, like any other child his age, enjoys free playtime in the backyard, running, exploring, and fully embracing his childhood without being burdened by titles or responsibilities. Another bold step was the controlled introduction of the trio into the digital world. William and Kate allowed their children to access social media under supervision, not as active users, but as careful observers. The goal was to teach them from an early age how public images can be shaped and distorted in an increasingly fast-paced and challenging digital world. This move is a clear indication that the monarchy understands that in order to maintain its position, it must keep up with cultural and technological changes. And it shows that their children are naturally integrating into this new world. The public, on the other hand, cannot take their eyes off this new phase. Videos of Charlotte curtsying with her innate elegance or George waving with a thoughtful gaze go viral within seconds. Compliments are flooding the internet. "You children are the bright future of the monarchy," one user commented. Louis, with his mischievous smile and unexpected humorous demeanor, has become an internet favorite. Hashtags like Lady Louis steals the spotlight and Royal Star have taken over Twitter and TikTok. A recent survey by YouGov revealed 87% of Britons believe that William and Kate's children will redefine the meaning of royalty. It's not just their charm that's winning, but also the hope, the idea that this new generation can be accessible and inspiring. As one royal observer wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "George, Charlotte, and Louis are like our own children growing up before our eyes and bringing us pride." William and Catherine's strategy, a careful balance between duty and personality, is proving effective. They are not only training future representatives of the monarchy, but also shaping individuals who reflect the values of a new era. With formal training underway, the whole world is watching. Expectations are high, and everything points to this generation truly transforming the monarchy. And then, the moment that decided everything arrived. When King Charles's final speech was broadcast, the entire United Kingdom seemed to come to a halt. Daily life appeared to pause, as if the whole country held its breath united in feeling the weight of a monumental transfer of power. On the cobbled streets of London, in the peaceful villages of Scotland outside traditional pubs, and even on social media platforms, thousands of Britons expressed their deep respect for the king who had dedicated his life to service. Now, with calmness and dignity, he handed over the heavy responsibility to the next generation. Even in the unusual chill of a British summer, the crowd persisted in gathering outside Buckingham Palace. They waved Union Jack flags and laid fresh bouquets, roses, lilies, creating a floral carpet stretching out before the gates. Each flower was a silent thank you to the king. Handmade signs reading "God Save Our King" appeared everywhere, along with well wishes directed at William and Kate, who would continue the long path of royalty. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of solemnity, yet also warmth, as if a page of history had been turned to a new chapter full of pride, respect, and hope. Almost immediately, reactions on social media spread at lightning speed. Hashtags like "Thank you, Charles," "Senum is Gal," and "Royal Future" quickly topped global trends, drawing millions of mentions in just a few short days. However, despite all this, one final image was still missing, a symbolic moment that would be etched forever in the collective memory of the nation. until a tweet surpassed 50,000 shares, perfectly capturing the collective emotion of the people Charles stepped up just when we needed him the most. Now William, Kate, and the children will carry on the tradition. So proud. Another user posted a picture of their family attentively watching the speech with the caption, "Crying with emotion for our royal family." This post not only expressed loyalty, but also carried a profound message about family bonds, the sense of unity that the monarchy has maintained through generations. That emotion quickly spread and was not limited to loyalty to the monarchy alone. It was a sincere empathy, a deep connection with a family that has become a symbol of the nation and the world, a family that, despite the pressures, continues to move forward with resilience on their path. All of this was clearly reflected in the impressive poll numbers. A survey conducted by the YouGov company just hours after the speech revealed near universal public support. 94% of Britons fully agreed with the decision to pass on power and responsibility to Charles. These numbers are not only proof of the trust in the king, but also a confirmation that the entire nation stands behind the new generation of the royal family, ready to embrace and believe in this meaningful transfer of power. As the world continues to change, Charles's speech stands as a guiding light, delivering a strong message of continuity and renewal, ushering in a new era for the British monarchy. "89% of those surveyed stated that they have complete trust in the leadership of William and Catherine, and 78% feel a deep emotional connection to the Welsh family." These numbers are not just statistics. They tell the story of the revival of a monarchy that once seemed on the verge of collapse. This is a stark contrast to the 1990s, when public support for the royal family hit rock bottom amid the storms and tragedies of the previous reign. So what has changed? The answer lies in those everyday, deeply emotional moments. In Catherine's vulnerability, yet resilience, when she first publicly shared her battle with cancer in a heartfelt and courageous video. In William's joyful laughter as he chases Louis during a charity match, a simple yet lively moment. In George's warm and natural wave during the trooping, the color parade, a moment that allowed viewers to feel his closeness, no longer the distant image of a prince. These images don't flaunt the perfect, untouchable beauty of the royal family. Instead, they show a royal family with all the joy, fragility, and challenges of any other ordinary family. It is this authenticity that has touched the hearts of the public, creating a deep connection like never before. Social media has become the megaphone amplifying this emotional connection. On X, formerly, Twitter clips capturing Charlotte's graceful and impeccable wave at a Commonwealth event were widely shared. One user commented fondly, "She's only 10, but she's already a queen." Other videos celebrated the tireless efforts of William and Kate in mental health campaigns, initiatives for children, and social projects. It's not just about the success in results, but also the dedication, the sincerity visible in every gesture, every step they take. Louis, with his playful antics on the palace balcony and his naturally innocent expressions, has almost become the little brother of the nation. Memes, hashtags, and viral videos of the boy bring moments of lightness and joy, adding a refreshing spirit to the entire family. Close sources from the palace say that the royal family was deeply touched by this warm support. In particular, it is reported that Catherine was moved to tears when reading messages from elementary school students, many of which featured drawings of her William and their 3 children, surrounded by crowns, hearts, and bright smiles. It was truly touching, a source revealed. William also captured the family's emotions in one sentence, We feel the weight of the trust people have placed in us, and that affection transcends all borders. Everywhere in the world, all eyes are on London. From distant Canada to Australia, words of encouragement and support have been pouring in. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese wrote, "Charles's grace has paved the way for a promising future under the leadership of William and Catherine." In Jamaica, community groups gathered at cultural centers to watch the speech, cheering loudly when plans for training the royal youth were mentioned. However, nothing expressed collective emotion more clearly than the story of an elderly woman outside Kensington Palace who spoke with a warm voice and teary eyes. "This is not just royalty, but our family. They're like close neighbors, friends we trust to preserve and guide the flame of tradition in this new era." Charles has given us stability, William and Kate bring us hope, and those children are the joy of the entire nation. This is a love story between a people and those who represent them, a strong and deep connection with many chapters yet to be written. If William is the backbone of the new monarchy era, then Catherine, the Princess of Wales, is the beating heart keeping it vibrant and full of life. Her influence on the future of the crown is immense and quiet, not because she lacks power, but because she chooses to act in places where the cameras cannot reach as a devoted mother, an unwavering advocate for social issues, and a steady pillar that keeps the royal family balanced in an ever-changing world. Palace officials often emphasize that Kate is a key factor in this historic transfer of power. One of them once said, "Kate's strength is what keeps everyone steady. She is the one who ensures the family is ready for the challenges ahead. Her parenting style blends affection with determination, empathy with pragmatism. These qualities are evident in the way George, Charlotte, and Louis are growing up genuine, confident, but never losing their true essence." In her public appearances, Catherine's gestures are both delicate and strong. A gentle, loving pat on Charlotte's back at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, a playful nudge to Louis during the Trooping the Color parade. These small actions showcase the constant presence of a mother, a gentle guide who leads without imposing, an inspiring leader who does so without being authoritarian. However, Catherine's profound and true influence goes far beyond what the public sees. It lies in how she is reshaping the image of the monarchy, how she is helping to shape its future, a modern, approachable, deep, and humanistic image that reflects the very values of the society the royal family serves. In a constantly changing world, she ensures that tradition and innovation walk hand in hand, helping the crown not just survive, but thrive. If you find this story about the historic turning point of the British royal family fascinating and meaningful, don't forget to like, share the video so more people can learn about it. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on exclusive, exciting stories about royal figures and other special events. Thank you for watching the video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Beneath the weight of lingering questions, a hidden narrative begins to unravel, threatening the core of the British monarchy. This isn't merely about pomp or tradition. It's about legacy and the raw, undeniable truth. The pivotal question arises: is the story of Prince William's lineage, the future king, truly what the public has always been told? As the veil slowly lifts, a new reality emerges, casting shadows on the monarchy's most guarded secrets, as they slowly dissolve under the revealing light of truth. Under the increasing weight of media scrutiny and public pressure, the once protective silence of the palace now feels more like a crushing burden. Is Prince William guarding a secret to protect the kingdom, or concealing a truth that could unravel the monarchy he's set to inherit? The tale is far from complete, and that question lingers. Perhaps the answer lies with you. If this story captivated you, drop a comment with the number 1. If not, leave a 0. Be sure to like, share, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another thrilling tale. Now let's jump in and start this amazing journey. The sentence that rocked the world, spoken by Prince William, was never meant to be heard. Locked away in the royal archives, buried in silence for decades, it was thought to be lost to history. Yet now, almost 40 years later, those words have resurfaced like a ghost haunting the grand halls of Buckingham Palace, leaving a cold, lingering presence that refuses to vanish. A handwritten letter from King Charles, penned in the mid-1980s, has emerged. Within its pages rests a truth both delicate and profound, passed through the monarchy's most secure channels, a truth that has the power to upend everything we thought we knew. That simple yet profound sentence captured it all. He would never belong to her. Not because of what happened later, but because from the very start he never did. Those 7 words have the power to shatter everything the world once believed about Prince William, the heir to the throne, the golden child of the House of Windsor, the embodiment of duty and royal tradition. The truth, as painful as it may be, must be confronted, because only through truth can we find freedom and peace within ourselves. Though truth can wound, it is in its acceptance that we grow stronger, clearer, and more rooted. History and truth always find their way back to us quietly, but relentlessly demanding our courage, not our silence. And sometimes the shortest phrases hold the weight to alter entire fates, reminding us that even within the grandest realms of royalty, the human heart remains the most delicate and intricate story of all. Historians have carefully scrutinized the paper, the ink, and even the handwriting, concluding that the letter was written between late 1984 and early 1986, when Prince William was just a toddler. It was a turbulent time defined by the growing rift in Charles and Diana's marriage. While the world marveled at royal tours and the iconic balcony waves behind the scenes, the fractures had already begun to surface. This month marks the 20th anniversary of Princess Diana's tragic passing. She was just 20 years old when she married Prince Charles. According to sources close to the royal family, the letter was not a mere complaint or a hasty note written in a moment of emotion. It was a carefully composed message penned during a time of profound personal struggle and intense public scrutiny. It is believed that the letter was sent to a spiritual advisor, a figure within the Church of England, who had earned Charles's deepest trust. Some speculate it might have been addressed to a close family friend, someone who had been by Charles's side since his youth. Whoever the recipient was, the message they received was so startling, so unsuitable for public consumption, that it could never be spoken aloud. This very statement has ignited a wave of questions, chief among them who was she, the woman Prince Charles claimed Prince William would never truly belong to. While many might jump to assume he was speaking of Princess Diana Royal, historians remain uncertain. They note that the letter carries no bitterness toward Diana. Instead, it emanates a quiet sorrow, as if Charles were referencing something or someone entirely different. Could this mysterious woman have been a surrogate, a shadowy figure whose presence was deliberately erased from royal history? Or was this a hidden confession pointing to someone entirely outside the royal story we thought we understood? Perhaps a woman who carried William while Diana was cast in the public role of symbolic mother. The timing of the letter only deepens the intrigue. This letter wasn't written during the tumultuous 1990s when scandals shook the palace and headlines were filled with royal misfortunes. No, this letter was written in the mid-1980s, a time when everything appeared calm, serene even. Why? Why would Charles hold on to such a secret in what seemed like a period of peace? A former palace aide described the letter as an emotionally measured act, not a spur-of-the-moment confession, but a deliberate, carefully considered message. That single simple sentence has caused historians to rethink the timeline, to question the roles within the royal family, and to probe deeper into what the public has never been told. As the world watches Prince William, an image of calm and resilience groomed to lead it, is this revelation that could expose the fragility hiding beneath the poised exterior of the future king. That was when the carefully crafted image of Prince William began to crack, slowly revealing an open royal secret hidden in plain sight. For years, whispers lingered within the palace, dismissed as mere fantasy, idle rumors, unworthy of attention for a crown so fiercely protected. Yet now, with the chilling handwritten words of King Charles, he will never belong to her. Not quite because from the very beginning he never did, those whispers grow louder, sharper, and impossible to ignore. A theory once deemed too outrageous to consider is now demanding a second glance. But this time, it's not about Prince Harry. This time the focus turns to Prince William, and the narrative takes a darker, more unsettling twist. In the early 1980s, long before the public glimpsed the cracks in Charles and Diana's fairy tale romance, something unusual was already unfolding. Diana had been hospitalized multiple times under vague medical reasons. At the time, the official explanation was stress or personal health issues. But behind the palace walls, insiders whisper a very different story. Quiet discussions about fertility. Private meetings between doctors, royal aides, and senior advisors. If the marriage was as strained as many current palace staff now suggest, and the pressure to produce a healthy heir became overwhelming, would the royal machinery step in the crown has its own motives and wields considerable influence. Anything is possible except time. If the union between Charles and Diana was more strategic than romantic, then an heir in the public eye wasn't merely a desire, it was a requirement. And if natural conception proved difficult, would the palace entertain an alternative? This is precisely when the theory begins to gain weight. What if the surrogate mother wasn't carrying Harry but William? What if Diana was asked not to give birth, but simply to raise a child selected for the future of the monarchy? Viewed through this lens, Charles's words take on far greater significance than Diana's. Suddenly, this isn't just a broken love story, it's something much more profound, something hidden so deeply that even William himself may remain unaware. Yet the signs have always been there, unmistakable in hindsight. Diana's love for William was undeniable, fierce, unconditional, at times even overprotective. But now, royal experts are asking a heartbreaking question. Was her love for William that of a mother's protective embrace, or that of a woman guarding a child she was told to claim as her own? In handwritten notes and interviews, Diana often voiced concerns that went far beyond the constant barrage of tabloid headlines. In one letter, she wrote, "My worries for William have never lessened. I feel the boy is mine, but it still feels incomplete." At the time, those words seemed like a poetic reflection of a mother's love. But now historians are reading them through a different lens, filled with conflicted emotions, a simmering sadness, and perhaps a woman burdened by a truth too heavy to utter. A former nanny once revealed that Diana never took her eyes off William even during the long, quiet nights in the palace. It was as if she was holding on to him for dear life. The woman said Diana seemed afraid of something deeper. But we may never truly know what Diana was shielding William from, whether it was the relentless paparazzi and public scrutiny or a hidden truth she was compelled to live with. And if this theory holds, if William was not Diana's biological child, but one she was chosen to raise, what does that say about the legacy we thought we understood? What does this reveal about the woman we thought we knew? If Diana carried this secret to her grave, then what lies beneath it could change everything we believed about the future king. The untold truths surrounding Prince William's birth, could they shift everything we once trusted about Diana and the crown? Stay tuned as this story unravels. DNA has shaken the future king to his core. If you enjoyed this story and want to keep uncovering the mysteries, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. Now let's dive back into the story. Prince William was born on June 21st, 1982, under the watchful eyes of the entire royal family. Good morning, sir. Good morning. How is she? She's doing very well, thank you. She looks beautiful. But we were once adorable babies, too. To the public, Charles and Diana remained the smiling couple, dutifully playing their parts as modern parents under the world's watchful gaze. But behind those polished moments, the royal fairy tale was beginning to unravel. Now, decades later, royal historians are revisiting that timeline, not with the lens of romance, but with growing suspicion. In early 1982, palace insiders began noticing small but curious inconsistencies. Diana had a quiet hospital visit just months before William was born, an event completely unreported by the press, with no official explanation given. The palace aides only mentioned she was feeling unwell, providing no further details. And in the royal world, when silence replaces transparency, it often signals that something is being concealed. The letter, believed to have been written in the mid-1980s, but clearly referencing events surrounding William's birth, now raises more questions than answers. If Diana wasn't truly ill, could there have been another reason? Was a secret decision made, one the public was never meant to uncover? This is where a new layer of the story begins to unfold. Some royal researchers suggest that the focus shouldn't be on the father, but rather on the mother. Not because Diana was absent, unloved, or uncaring, but because she might have had no biological connection to William at all. The theory may sound extreme, but what if the truth was never meant to be extreme, just deeply buried? The details surrounding William's birth have always been tightly controlled. Yet now the royal archives from 1981 to 1983 are reportedly under a quiet review. A former royal secretary recently hinted that some documents may have been backdated or even completely replaced. Staff at the palace maintain that protocol is always followed unless, of course, the protocol itself is quietly rewritten. And that is precisely the clue that has ignited renewed whispers about a carefully chosen royal surrogate managed quietly and never publicly acknowledged. DNA has now cast a shadow over everything. For years, rumors have circulated that as Prince William entered adulthood, he began asking private questions about his bloodline, his origins, and the silences that were never meant to be confronted. Some sources suggest that a private DNA test may have been conducted around 2001, far from royal laboratories at a location that remains undisclosed. According to a former royal security officer, the results were sent in a sealed envelope to Clarence House. What happened afterward remains a mystery. Did Charles open it? Did William ever see what was inside, or was it hidden away like so many other secrets kept not only to protect the monarchy, but also to safeguard William's personal identity. If the results proved that Charles was the father, but Diana was not the mother, then every photo, every memory, and every family tradition would take on an entirely new meaning. Not a lie, but a carefully orchestrated version of the truth. And perhaps that's why the letter was written not to expose, but to wrestle with guilt. A quiet confession penned in ink by a father who may have carried that truth too heavily for too long. So how did Charles manage to conceal a truth so heavy it haunted him for decades? Stay tuned. This changes everything. A secret Charles could never voice aloud. King Charles has long projected a calm, reserved image before the public, measured words, emotions, never spilling beyond royal bounds. But now that image is starting to crack. A private letter written sometime in the mid-1980s has emerged. Its tone is gentle, its meaning profound. Just one line in that letter may be the closest we've ever come to hearing Charles speak without filters or formalities. He will never belong to her. Not really, because from the very beginning he never did. At first it sounds cold, yet read it again. Not out of suspicion, but out of sorrow. What if it wasn't about pain, but a confession? What if behind the palace doors, Charles was struggling to voice a truth too heavy to bear? This time, the mystery doesn't center on Prince Harry, but Prince William the heir, the future king, the seemingly perfect figure for the role. Yet even perfection can be a mask. Some now believe that beneath the carefully curated relationship between Charles and William lies a deeper truth, one the king may have carried since the day William was born in June 1982. Royal observers often point out that the dynamic between Charles and William seems formal, almost scripted. While the world witnessed affectionate gestures and official portraits, those behind the palace walls whispered about emotional voids. A former palace staff member remarked, "Charles seemed present, but reserved, as if he were fulfilling the role of a father rather than truly living it." Could that distance stem not from a lack of love, but from confusion, even guilt? If Charles knew or suspected that Diana had no biological connection to William, that she might have been asked to raise him as her own, then every hug, every shared moment in public would be carrying within him a shadow. The single sentence in that letter is not an accusation, it is a sorrow written in ink. The anguish of a father cloaked in royal language. And then there is William himself. From a young age, he stood out not just because of his status, but because of something far less obvious. Teachers described him as more serious than his years. Staff noticed that William often questioned his duties, his role, and why things had to be the way they were. A former nanny recalled that William was always observing, always trying to understand things others couldn't see. As he grew older, his questions deepened. While Harry acted out and rebelled, William withdrew, silent, calm, and constantly searching. He was searching for something that perhaps no one around him dared to explain. Those closest to him say he became even more withdrawn after Diana's death in 1997. Her loss was not just the death of a mother, it might have been the final lock on a door for which he never had the key. If she wasn't his biological mother and somehow he sensed this deep within his heart, then the pain he carried was more than grief. It was a yearning for answers, a longing for the truth that had always been just out of reach. How profoundly isolating it must be to spend a lifetime sensing that something isn't quite right without ever knowing why. And now, as this letter emerges, and Buckingham Palace braces for the fallout, the silence surrounding William's past begins to feel less like tradition and more like fear. Perhaps Prince William's silence isn't driven by duty, but by something much more human: fear. The truth may finally be coming to the surface. The storm of silence surrounding the crown has never felt so intense. The palace walls, once unyielding, now seem fragile. With the letter exposed and timelines unraveling under scrutiny, silence has become Buckingham Palace's last remaining defense. But this silence is far from peaceful. It's thick with anxiety. Tense meetings have replaced family dinners, and behind every closed door, one question lingers: how much longer can the truth remain buried? Legal teams are now working around the clock. Sources confirm that a private crisis management unit previously activated during the fallout from Meghan and Harry's Oprah interview has quietly been reassembled. Their new mission to contain leaks, bury the truth, and protect the legacy of the royal family at all costs. But this is no longer just about a single letter. The real issue is what else might be out there. Letters, notes, or personal confessions, not only written by King Charles, but possibly sent to Princess Diana, or even Prince William himself. And now a quiet fear is growing behind the palace's gilded doors. Because just one more document slipping into the public's hands could do more than tarnish reputations. It could shake the very foundations of the monarchy. It could upend everything: titles, the line of succession, and the public's trust. The monarchy is facing a reckoning it was never prepared for. Legal advisors are reportedly re-examining the limits of the Official Secrets Act, searching for ways to legally bury the past. But outside the United Kingdom, foreign journalists and media outlets are not bound by the same rules. The truth may slip through cracks in the law, and once it does, it could bring the entire royal institution into uncharted territory. The truth is slowly unraveling bit by bit, and with every whisper the power of the monarchy weakens. But at the center of it all, steadfast in public, yet possibly fractured in private stands, Prince William, the future king, the steady hand of the realm. Now, he is the one man caught between preserving tradition and confronting the possibility that his entire story may have been shaped by silence. And now the question echoes louder than ever: did William know? Insiders believe he did. When William came of age, likely around the year 2000, just after his 18th birthday, Charles may have sat down with him privately, away from royal aides and formalities, and shared more than just fatherly advice about duty. One source described it as a profound conversation, the kind that changes a young man forever. What was revealed in that moment could have shaped William's understanding of his own identity and the legacy he is destined to inherit. Those closest to William noticed the change. He became more guarded, more cautious with his words, less emotionally expressive, and increasingly committed to royal protocol even when it came at a personal cost. Was that the moment the truth was passed on? For someone like William, raised in the spotlight and taught to place the institution above himself, the weight of that knowledge must have been unbearable. Every decision, every handshake, every camera flash had to be calculated. And if he had to choose between protecting his brother's right to know and preserving the image of the monarchy he was born to uphold, it seems that choice was made long ago. But that silence is no longer without consequence. William's smile has always set the tone, but this wedding will surely be beautiful. Yet beneath the surface, the unspoken truth still lingers, shaping his every move. While William maintains his composure at royal ceremonies, shaking hands, cutting ribbons, and delivering speeches, the questions continue to mount. His silence is no longer seen as a strength. It's beginning to resemble complicity. If he knows the truth about his own origins or about the family and has remained silent not just to the world but to Harry, then the betrayal is no longer just royal. It's deeply personal. And in Montecito, California, where Prince Harry now lives with Meghan, the response couldn't be more different. There is no silence, no strained smiles, only a growing demand for answers. Sources close to the Sussexes say Meghan is urging Harry to pursue the truth more fully than ever, no matter what stands in the way. And what if Meghan's pursuit of the truth uncovers a secret that even William can no longer outrun? Be patient. The Queen, the gatekeeper, and the truth about William. As the quiet storm surrounding Prince William steadily gains strength, one name continues to linger just beyond the curtain. If the crown of St. Edward was worn only once, it was by Queen Elizabeth II. For over 7 decades, she was the final authority in royal matters, the guardian of tradition, the keeper of secrets. No one dared to question her. And now, as questions mount about a hidden truth from William's early life, the late Queen's silence no longer seems neutral. It begins to look like a strategy. A strategy carefully orchestrated to shield the monarchy and perhaps the truth until it could no longer be contained. Those close to the Queen say she witnessed everything. Every record, every medical file, every sealed letter was kept among family members. If there was a private document from Charles, one implying William's origins, it almost certainly passed across her desk. She must have known. Yet nothing was ever publicly spoken about. No edits, no denials, just a calm, steely wall forged over time. Some within the royal circle now believe she was not ignoring the matter. She handled it quietly, carefully behind closed doors. A former aide remarked, she didn't react outwardly. She planned. Could her sudden push for family reconciliation in her final years have been more than just an emotional closure? Could it have been an attempt to prepare the monarchy for a truth it was never meant to face? In 2022, during her final in-person meeting with William at Windsor, observers described the moment as tender and filled with unspoken emotions. But in hindsight, some now wonder if that encounter was her way of conveying the truth to the one man destined to inherit not only the crown, but also its shadows. If she knew and kept it secret, then William inherited more than just the throne. He inherited a secret greater than the crown itself, a truth not tied to scandal, but to identity. For a monarchy built on bloodline legacy and public perception, that singular truth might be the thread woven through everything William was raised to protect. The weight of that knowledge could explain the distance and restraint in his relationship with the public and his family, as he quietly carries the legacy of both the monarchy and its most deeply guarded secret. And what if William not only inherits the throne, but also a secret that could destroy everything it stands for? Stay tuned. The question of lineage may haunt William forever. For Prince William, everything has always pointed toward a single path, the throne. The Prince and Princess of Wales have unique sleeping arrangements at Kensington Palace, a symbol of their carefully curated public life. And from his very first steps at Kensington Palace to his solemn presence at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral in 2022, he has carried his responsibilities quietly and precisely. Yet beneath that composure lies the weight of a legacy that may not be as simple as it appears. What if the truth once revealed could unravel everything he has been raised to protect? But beneath the surface of tradition, portraits, and ceremony, a deeper question is beginning to emerge. A question that could shake the very bloodline William was born to represent. What if the truth behind William's birth is not what the public has been told? In the British monarchy, lineage is not just symbolic. It is law. Every royal roll, Every title, every order of succession is based on proven ancestral origins. The foundation of the monarchy itself rests on bloodlines that trace back centuries, and any challenge to that lineage could unravel the very structure of power. As the whispers grow louder, the question remains, how much of what we know is truly the whole truth? And if the questions now revolve not around his brother Harry, but around William himself, the impact would be monumental. William is not just a senior royal, he is the direct heir. If doubts arise about the details of his biological origins, it would not only affect him personally, but could also shake the very foundation of the entire monarchy. Lawmakers are actively considering the potential consequences. A constitutional expert remarked, "The crown is not an individual. It is an institution built on bloodline. If that link is broken even by suspicion, the monarchy will face unprecedented challenges." Suddenly, decisions made in the past seem less like tradition and more like preparation. The stability of the monarchy, long believed to be unshakable, now faces its most uncertain moment. For example, why has there been such precision in William's public appearances in recent years? Why is so much personal information so tightly controlled, even as public pressure for transparency increased during the Queen's final months? Now, with whispers of sealed documents, quietly reassigned titles, and a final letter reportedly written by Charles before the Queen's passing, some insiders believe a new motive is slowly becoming clearer. As the pieces begin to fall into place, it seems the royal family is bracing for something far beyond mere protocol. The control, the secrecy, the meticulous management of public perception, it all starts to suggest that there may be more at play than just protecting the monarchy's image. Not anger, but restraint. A deliberate silence meant to shield the monarchy from an identity crisis it may never recover from. But what about William's silence? He continues to perform composed, steady, unshaken in public. Yet those who know him say the pressure is mounting. If he knows even just a part of the truth and chooses to remain silent, is that loyalty to the crown, or is it a betrayal of the people who trusted him to lead with honesty? The weight of the monarchy's legacy rests on his shoulders, but with each unspoken word, the cost of that silence grows ever more profound. If you found this story intriguing and want to dive deeper into the mysteries surrounding Prince William and the British monarchy, don't forget to like this video to show your support. Share it with friends and anyone fascinated by the dramatic and unexpected twists behind royal life. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss any videos in our series uncovering the untold stories and hidden truths of royal families around the world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Welcome to our channel. Today we're about to witness an emotional moment as Prince William shares the final words Princess Diana entrusted to him, causing King Charles to break down in tears. This is a surprising and heartfelt story that reveals the deep emotions and bonds the royal family has kept hidden for years. Don't miss it. Join us to experience the profound love and connection within the royal family. Hey friends, do you feel moved by stories about the royal family? If yes, drop a 1 in the comments. If not, leave a 0. Enjoy the video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support me. The crowd fell silent, holding their breath, as Prince William stepped toward the microphone standing beneath the statue of his mother. The atmosphere was still tense, as if waiting for something monumental. Then he took the mic, his voice ringing out, carrying the weight of words never shared in public before. "One day I will become king. Don't let that change you," he said, his gaze fixed on the crowd, his tone steady but tinged with sadness. The statue of Princess Diana seemed to be listening to these words. Far away across the garden, the camera captured an image of King Charles. His eyes were teary, his lips trembling as if he were going through an inner storm. The king, who had endured countless scandals, sorrows, and years of silence, could no longer suppress his emotions, and tears streamed down his face. Diana's words felt like a wound to his heart, and they resurfaced stronger than ever before. No longer whispered words from the past, but a crashing wave sweeping everything in its path. Prince William, standing beneath his mother's statue, continued. "My mother's voice has always guided me," he said with a solemnity that made the world seem to pause and listen. It wasn't just a tribute. It was a bearing of his soul, a truth never shared beyond the palace walls. He slowly revealed the words Diana had whispered to him just before she passed, words no one else had heard. "Remember who you are, William. Don't let power change your heart." The cameras kept rolling, capturing every moment. Charles and Camilla stood behind their faces filled with expectation, but tinged with unease. This was no mere ceremony. It was a deeply personal confession. Everyone sensed the shift in the air. It wasn't just a statement. It was a turning point. The ceremony, meant as a tribute, had transformed into something monumental, a powerful emotional handover across generations of the royal family. William wasn't just speaking, he was passing down a legacy. A powerful message had turned an ordinary ceremonial moment into a profound emotional experience. These weren't mere stories of the past, but lessons he carried every day. The monarchy may evolve, but humanity does not. William said, his gaze piercing the crowd. "Today we remember love over titles," he continued. His words were bold, heartfelt, and authentic, as if a son were voicing the shared truth of all. The air grew heavy, tinged with sorrow, yet brimming with strength. William's words were not just a statement, but a challenge to royal tradition, a historic turning point. The ceremony was no longer merely a tribute. It had become a moment of profound impact, resonating not only within the royal family, but across the entire kingdom. And as William went on, everything became clearer. Diana's warnings, channeled through her son's voice, left an indelible mark on everyone's minds. One night, he paused, took a deep breath, and revealed a story no one could have anticipated. She looked at me and whispered, "One day you'll be king. Don't let it change you." The crowd leaned in, feeling the weight behind those words. It wasn't just a royal remark. It was a mother's final lesson to her son. William gently explained that those words weren't a public speech, but an intimate moment during bedtime hugs years ago. Those moments weren't performances. They were real, William said, and those words have shaped my life, guiding me in leadership. Suddenly, the statue behind him was no longer just a monument. It became a vivid reminder of the values Diana had passed down. His message was a test of the conflict between power and principle. "Diana entrusted me with her truth," he said, "and now I entrust that truth to you." This intimate revelation made the royal family more relatable than ever. "This isn't gossip. This is moral guidance," he emphasized. Emotion rippled through the audience, and journalists and commentators fell silent. A historical precedent, one wondered, but the answer was no. Yet moral courage abounded. William concluded with fierce resolve, "I stand here not as a prince, but as a reminder of her voice." The ceremony was no longer a ritual. It was a challenge to the institution itself. With Diana's private warning now public, a seismic shift began. What would King Charles do next as this truth landed in the hands of the man he had raised? His emotional response could redefine their relationship and shake the monarchy's foundation. The world would want to witness this. The cameras panned to King Charles as William finished speaking. His posture was rigid, his lips trembling, but no smile appeared. Though distant, his tears were unmistakable. This was the first public sign that his composed facade was cracking. When William quoted Diana, Charles didn't immediately look at the camera. Then the moment was truly powerful. The crowd held its breath as they watched Charles's jaw tremble. His lips pressed tightly together, as if he were holding back grief, regret, or both. This was the first time a royal family member hadn't hidden their tears. A single tear rolled down his cheek, and the entire world witnessed the king's transformation not through power but through pain. No context was needed. You just had to see the raw wound on his face. This public display shattered centuries of royal restraint. Charles, always seen as composed and proper, now unhesitatingly showed himself to be authentic, vivid, and unfiltered. It wasn't a scandal, nor was it